Welcome back everyone to the Undersea Workshop. I'm G.OctoCo, and today I'm going to show everyone my November project, my Falin Chimera dress from Delicious in Dungeon. Between my plans and the time I would have to work on it, I had my doubts that it would even be possible to finish. As it turns out, I was right. That being said, I did get a decent amount done, so let's get into it. I immediately knew I wanted the dress to be covered in these tiny feathers to look like her design, to create this fluffy look, which meant I needed a lot of tiny feathers. I thought I was going to find a sundress for this, but I actually ended up with a wedding dress that I found in a thrift store for $15. I also bought some spare fabric, like the sheer that I used to make the neckline and sleeves, which I got for $6, and 2 sheets also found in the thrift store for $10 altogether. So the total of this dress came out to like $31. This project started off really promising. Months earlier, I had stumbled across this promising wedding dress in a thrift store. The appliques and sleeves looked easy enough to remove. Step 2, though, was washing it. I didn't want to throw this in the washing machine and risk ruining it, so that meant washing it by hand. And with it clean, I started to remove the decorations, which ended up also being a lot harder than expected. The stitches were so tight and I didn't want to ruin the appliques, so I had to go through each stitch individually to cut them free. I think the hardest part of this was the fact that I had to remove the lining from the dress, and of course this was like an actual wedding dress. It was really well sewn together, and I'm kind of afraid having to put it back together that it's not going to be as strong, but we'll see how that goes. I did have to cut this dress and hem it up to the length I wanted. When I bought it, it was like a floor-length gown, and while that worked really well because the train is going to be used for half of the dragon and make it look like I'm, connected to the centaur part. But with the dress set up, I let it sit until I had time to focus on it. It is also teaching me kind of like the weakness of not using patterns. When I was doing the sheer, I had just sewn 2 rectangles together, thinking like, yeah, that'll be good. But I forgot that with the high neckline I wanted, I wouldn't be able to just like slide over my head because the sheer was not stretchy at all, and it's so delicate that I can't risk ripping it. And I did have to like cut down the middle that I don't think I ended up recording, but I'm gonna have to find a way to add fixtures on that. But it was time to start cutting up the feathers. I cut up the first sheet until bruises started developing on my hands from the scissors, and that was only to create the rectangles. I gave myself more time for the feathers to preserve my hand, and when the bag was full, it was time to form the feathers. I applied diluted water-based glue to each of them and hung them to dry to create this unique shape for each of them. I was stuck to 160 a night, limited only by my pins and clothespins and the pain of my back from hunching over the table for 2 hours a night. Then, after 4 nights of that, I was ready to start actually working on the dress, and started with the sheer to form a neckline. Really, all I did here was sew 2 squares together. I gave myself a base to start sewing on the feathers, row by row, bottom to top, to create this plumage look. I glued down the bodice, which was a change from my initial design, because when the feathers stuck out the way they did, it just looked too round. while it's such a big project, the work on it was actually there wasn't much variation in the actual work I've done. It was just make feathers, sew them down, and try to keep it looking natural. Obviously, it took a lot of work, and that I wasn't even able to finish in a month. So if this dress looks a little pieced together, it's because I'll have to finish it. But yeah, this was a pretty massive project, and I'm gonna be working on it, unfortunately, for like a lot longer than I wanted. But that's what you get for wanting to do a whole Chimera cosplay. So thanks for checking this out, and I hope you've learned something. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you at the next workshop. See you later, guys.